Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving deep into one of the most shocking and explosive developments of the entire war, a moment that has once again shaken Russia, shocked Putin, and sent the entire world into urgent alert because overnight, without warning, Ukraine launched a devastating strike that destroyed the Crimea Bridge once again. This wasn't just an attack. This was a message, a statement, and a tactical masterstroke that is now changing the direction of the conflict in ways Russia never expected. For months, Russia believed the Crimea Bridge was finally safe. They rebuilt its structure, repaired its pillars, reinforced its defenses, and covered every inch with anti-drone systems. Putin personally ordered some of the most advanced protective layers ever placed on a military, connected structure. But Ukraine had other plans, and those plans were executed with precision, silence, and an element of surprise that Russia completely failed to detect. What happened overnight was not just another strike. It was a perfectly calculated operation. Ukrainian analysts had been studying Russian patterns, movements, radar gaps, and air defense weaknesses. And while Moscow bragged about their so-called impenetrable shield, Ukraine quietly observed and quietly prepared. When the moment came, they released something Russia did not see coming, a wave of long-range systems that slipped through the layers exactly when Russian operators least expected it. As dawn approached, Crimeans awoke not to calmness but to chaos. Massive fireballs lit the night sky. Parts of the bridge's structure collapsed into the water. Sections twisted, buckled, and fell apart. Russian emergency teams rushed in, but even they were overwhelmed. Putin, who was reportedly given a briefing within minutes, was visibly shaken. This bridge was not only a logistical line, it was his pride, his political symbol, his connection between mainland Russia and occupied Crimea. Seeing it explode again was a humiliation he could not hide. But why did this strike happen now? What makes this moment so important? To understand that, we need to look at the strategic situation. Russia has been pushing aggressively in Donetsk, especially around Pokrovsk and Avdiivka areas. Ukraine needed a way to reduce Russian supply lines, ammunition routes, troop rotations, and fuel deliveries. The Crimea Bridge was the main artery. Destroying it means slowing down Russia's front line operations, increasing delays, blocking military deliveries, and forcing Russia to reroute everything through longer, riskier paths. This wasn't just destruction, this was leverage, a psychological blow, a military disruption, and a political earthquake inside Moscow. As news spread across Russia, panic began to rise. Military bloggers were furious. Officials tried to downplay the damage, but viral videos told a different story. Flames shooting high, vehicles burnt, water below filled with debris, and civilians stranded miles from safety. The bridge that Putin promised would never fall again had once again collapsed under Ukrainian power. This fueled a wave of anger among Russian nationalists who questioned why billions of rubles couldn't protect one structure. Meanwhile, Ukraine celebrated cautiously. They knew this strike was a major turning point, but not the end. Their message was clear. Crimea is not safe, Russia is not untouchable, and the war is far from under Moscow's control. Ukrainian military sources hinted that more long-range capabilities are now active, and that Russia must prepare for further surprises. But let's talk about the deeper impact, because this is bigger than a bridge. When Crimea Bridge is hit, Putin's internal political stability shakes. Every time it goes down, cracks appear within the Kremlin. Officials fear consequences, generals fear punishment, and Russian citizens fear losing Crimea itself. The bridge is a symbol of annexation, dominance, and territorial control. Its destruction tells the world that Russia's grip on Crimea is weakening. Another major effect of this strike is on Russian supply distribution. Fuel trucks, military vehicles, armored carriers, and ammunition convoys depended heavily on this shortcut. Without the bridge, Russia must rely on ferries, which are slow, vulnerable, and already overloaded. Satellite images show backups forming with supplies delayed for days. This means Russia's front line forces will struggle with shortages, delays, and logistical chaos. And in war, logistics often decide the outcome more than firepower. But what truly terrified Moscow was the precision. The accuracy of the attack shocked Russian commanders. It showed that Ukraine not only has advanced weapons, but also real-time intelligence, target tracking, and the capability to hit critical infrastructure with pinpoint accuracy. Russia's excuse of drone swarms did not match the blast signatures seen in the footage. Experts believe long-range missiles or combined wave tactics were used, a method that overwhelms multiple defense layers at the same time. Inside the Kremlin, meetings were held urgently. Pressure increased on Putin to respond, but what options does he have? Escalation risks global backlash. Retaliation inside Ukraine risks failure, and ignoring the attack risks appearing weak. The Crimea Bridge strike has cornered him, leaving him with difficult and dangerous choices. As the dust settled, Russia deployed additional air defense systems around Crimea, scrambling to close the gaps. But Ukraine has shown that no matter how much Russia tries to fortify, it can adapt faster. This war is no longer about territory alone. It's about intelligence, precision, strategy, and timing. And Ukraine proved once again that it can strike at the heart of Russia's pride when the moment is right. What comes next is uncertain, but one thing is clear. The destruction of the Crimea Bridge has redefined the momentum of this conflict. It is a massive morale boost for Ukraine and a devastating psychological blow for Russia. It signals that Crimea is vulnerable, Russia's defenses are not as strong as advertised, and Putin's claims of total control are crumbling under the reality of modern warfare. As the world watches closely, new questions emerge. Will Ukraine strike again? Will Russia retaliate harder? Will NATO support increase? And most importantly, is this strike the beginning of a much larger operation aimed at reclaiming Crimea? Whatever happens next, one truth stands firm. The overnight destruction of the Crimea Bridge has shaken the war to its core. And this is only the beginning of what could be the most defining phase yet.